people that I'm seeing come online is testimony to the fact that the young and middle level scientists and engineers in Nigeria see the value of this relationship. We will continue to leverage the little funding that we get to help support those who will get more training and capacity development. We'll also leverage the opportunities we get from our private sector to join these initiatives that will help to strengthen our current workforce. And we believe in an ecosystem idea of getting more people involved by bringing all the forces together to make sure that there is development and growth. We here at NASCETEM are working towards the development of a NASCETEM Academy that will help to improve in silico training and certification, so that we get more people certified with ICT skills, with marketing skills, with some specialized technologies. So it's a great opportunity for us, and I'm delighted that one of our own, Dr. Maruf Sani, is among those who will help to share their experiences and share the pathway for people to learn and get into the EU ecosystem of learning and competence. So it is with this, I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to say one or two words, just to encourage and promote this very important relationship that is built on trust and friendship. So I yield back to you, wishing us all a fantastic time learning, collaborating, and working together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your great presentation and great words. So we move the floor to Professor Opiemi. Professor, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. I'm trying to make sure my network is good by checking around. Okay. I stand on the existing protocol, and on behalf of NigeriaLics, with the full acronym meaning Nigeria Network for Economic of Learning, Innovation, and Competence Building System. Welcome everybody to this workshop. Most especially our facilitators, because we believe we're going to learn what will help us in this workshop. And just like Dr. Olushola, the executive manager, has said ahead, that the grants development or grant award will also help in making the vision of developing and building capacity amidst stakeholders. The vision of NigeriaLics is to support and undertake capacity building in innovation and development within the policymakers, stakeholders, NGO, development partners, researchers, and students, in order to promote inclusive and sustainable economic development. With this in mind, the network have members from different sectors, from economics, from health, from engineering, from science, and not only from different sectors, but also from different geopolitical zones of Nigeria. And this helped us even to announce a lot within the members. So I believe the opportunity given to us by the EURAXESS Africa on this grant writing workshop is a time-bound one and a very important one. And I want to assure you that many of our members are here today to learn and to put it in practice so that we'll be able to bring out output. On behalf of the board member, the president, the ESCOs, and the members of NigeriaLics, I want to welcome you all to this workshop and appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for these nice words. So now we move to Dr. Vincenzo Lorusso, Policy Officer, International Cooperation at European Commission.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends, dear researchers, scientists, hopefully students as well, Your Excellencies, esteemed colleagues from Nigeria, dear Dr. Odusanya, dear Professor Aide, dear Dr. Sani, dear Maruf, dear Ahmed, dear Dalibo, dear Professor Favorode, and esteemed network of national counterpoints for Horizon Europe of Nigeria. Dear friends and colleagues from the EU delegation to Abuja, and esteemed colleagues from the ministries involved in research and innovation across the country, from the ministry, the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, to the Ministry of Education, to the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. My name is Vincenzo Lorusso. I work as a policy officer at the European Commission, Director General for Research and Innovation, and I have the honor to be responsible for the cooperation between the European Union and the African Union on research and innovation at multilateral level, and at the same time of the bilateral cooperation on research and innovation specifically with Nigeria. I would like also to take this opportunity to salute this initiative, this commendable initiative that gathers such large numbers of scientists and researchers around this info session today. I take the opportunity to warmly thank EURAXESS Africa, Ahmed, Dalibo, and all the colleagues involved in securing these events and the continuity of information sessions that have been set up and conducted to enhance capacity and to enhance our cooperation between the EU and Nigeria. This is not happening as a solitary initiative. This is happening within an ongoing endeavor that is indeed aiming to enhance capacity when it comes to principal investigators, team leaders, more holistically with regards to the framework program Horizon Europe, of which, as you will see today, the Maris-Klosky reactions is indeed a component of the so-called Pillar 1. And I take indeed this opportunity also to salute the commendable training program that has been jointly set up by the EU delegation in Abuja in close cooperation with the TED funds. And indeed, I wish to acknowledge and thank all the colleagues involved. Without any further ado, I would also like to take some little time to share my slide in a quick presentation that I would like to give today, to provide some insights really from our perspective of what this cooperation is about. What you will hear today from my side is just a preamble of what will be coming then on the Maris-Klosky reactions and the opportunities when it comes to mobility for researchers. And you will hear this from Ahmed and Dalibo. To set the policy context of where this cooperation is happening. So the cooperation between the EU and Nigeria is happening at two levels, at the multilateral level within the African Union, European Union cooperation on research and innovation. And this is governed under the aegis of the so-called AU-EU high-level policy dialogue, the so-called HLPD, on science, technology and innovation, which is the policy platform that was established in the year 2010, which is where the long-term priorities of this cooperation are set. And it's under the aegis of this high-level policy dialogue that in July 2020, the first ever ministerial meeting took place with ministers of research and innovation of both continents, of both unions, the African Union and the European Union, that got together in that case virtually, because this happened indeed under COVID times. And during this first ministerial meeting, the 4 priority areas of these corporations were defined jointly. You will see them in here: public health, green transition, innovation and technology, and capacities for science. I would like to specify that within the broad priority area of green transition, you will also find included the 2 sub-areas of food and nutrition security and sustainable agriculture, also known under the acronym of FNSSA, and climate change and sustainable energy, also known under the acronym of CCSE. Now, the reason why I am stressing out these 4 priority areas is because coming from the joint policy dialogue, these are the areas in which you will see the investments are made when it comes to the instruments, the funding instruments that are supporting, indeed, the actual research and innovation to take place. Now, of course, I would like to also hopefully clarify that with areas such as innovation and technology and capacities for science linked to capacity buildings, indeed the scope of such 2 priority areas is indeed extremely vast and cross-cutting, overarching across different sectors. During the first ever ministerial meeting of July 2020, it was also decided that we need to do more to secure the translation of research and innovation into tangible, positive, socioeconomic impact on the ground. And with this ambition in mind, it's how the so-called EU Innovation Agenda was conceived for the first time in July 2020, with the ambition to really foster the translation of research and innovation into actual products, services, businesses and jobs in both Africa and Europe. This agenda was drafted then in a very collaborative and concerted fashion under the aegis of the so-called Team Africa Europe, which is governed by the Innovation Agenda Working Group that reports to the Bureau of the High-Level Policy Dialogue, the EU High-Level Policy Dialogue. The draft version of this agenda was published online in February 2022, and then throughout the entirety of last year was subject to a very vast stakeholder consultation. I take this opportunity also to highlight that Nigerian stakeholders, Nigerian research and innovation organizations were very much involved in providing feedback and input on this agenda through consultation initiatives online, but also in person, with the participation of Nigerian representatives, a Nigerian delegation at the EU Innovation Agenda stakeholder event that took place as a culmination of this process in November 2022 in Nairobi. Now, we haven't got the time to go into the details, but you will receive this presentation by all means, and by clicking on all the hyperlinks that you see in here, you'll be able to then access the actual document. You will see this agenda is composed of 4 objectives, articulated then into short, medium and long-term actions across the 4 priority areas of the corporation that I mentioned, plus an additional one, which is the one of cross-cutting issues. And let me also say that this agenda was adopted on the 19th of July this year, and therefore through that, now having been adopted, this is the time where we are implementing this agenda as the policy mainstay of a cooperation between Africa and Europe for the next decade ahead. And of course, the implementation will bring Nigeria to be very much involved at the forefront in this cooperation in implementing this agenda. This agenda will be implemented indeed by member states, and of course will be implemented by stakeholders, not just universities, higher education institutions, research institutions, but also private sectors, incubators, accelerators, SMEs, and startups and civil society. If you want to know more about the process, there's a preprint of a commentary of a concept note that we published last year about this process. And I will also take this opportunity for you to please familiarize with the EU Innovation Interface, which is a web portal that we launched upon the adoption of the EU Innovation Agenda, which will be representing for the next years ahead, and certainly for the time being as well, the container where we will put all the relevant contents that have been generated, opportunities that are also becoming available as part of the implementation of this agenda. Indeed, there you will also find a section that concerns EURAXESS Africa. So you will hear a lot about EURAXESS Africa, very resourceful platform where you can find a lot of resources for information, info sessions, webinars, but also opportunities to have access to potential collaborators within Africa, in Europe. And this is something that I'm sure Ahmed will also inform you about. We will be running virtual workshops with training components, with matchmaking components, and with experience sharing components. Perhaps, I believe, certainly some of you have attended the first episode, which took place on the 28th of November last week, with a focus on intellectual property rights. If you have missed it, no worries. We're going to put the recording of the training session under the AU-EU Deep Tech Transformation Training Scheme on this web portal. The link is here. You'll be able to access it just by clicking on it. Let us move very quickly now into what is Horizon Europe. Horizon Europe is the so-called framework program. It is the largest, from a funding perspective, program that supports research and innovation in the world, with approximately a support of 100 billion euros, as you can see in here, for a 7-year period from 2021 and 2027. And within the 7-year framework, the timeframe, the framework program is organized into work programs. So biannual work programs. So 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, which is the current work program in which we are. And as you will see in this presentation, I'm sure you will also have other dedicated slides of this in other colleagues' presentations. There's 3 pillars that compose the Horizon Europe Framework Program. Pillar 1 is the one that includes the European Research Council, which also has different funding opportunities, and the Marie-Claude actions, the MSCSA. And you will hear indeed talking about these during today's presentation. Pillar 2 is the one that is organized in topics, then articulated into calls for proposals according to clusters. And this is also a focus of the training that is now being co-organized by the EU delegation to Nigeria, with the support of the TED Fund, and in cooperation, of course, of the national contact points, the NCPs, the Horizon Europe National Contact Points, NCPs network for Nigeria, of whom, Dr. Sani is indeed a representative, a responsible colleague for the Marie-Claude actions, in light, of course, of his great experience in this space. And I would like also to take this opportunity to highlight that what is very resourceful about the NCP network, the very vast and solid NCP network that was put together for Horizon Europe by Nigeria, is that indeed the NCP contacts are those who have actual experience in the area for which they are responsible. And you will hear from Dr. Sani from Maruf. His experience is extremely vast, and it has been very successful in the MCSA, in the Marie-Claude action in the past. The Africa Initiative 2 is a package of topics organized in calls for proposals of the work program 2023-2024 of Horizon Europe, Pillar 2. So please consider this as Pillar 2. These topics encourage or require specifically participation of African researchers and African research institutions. The purpose here is really to enhance the cooperation and to enhance the participation coming from African institutions, especially across these 3 areas that are some 3 of the 4 priority areas of the cooperation between Africa and Europe in research and innovation. Here there's a link. You'll be able to access the portal, the funding and tenders portals of Horizon. I wanted to leave you with this because indeed I didn't want to miss the opportunity to share these resources. For the area of public health, there's also a specific initiative that is called the Global Health EDCTP 3, European and Developing Countries Clinical Trials Partnership 3 joint undertaking, which has its own work program 2023 and 2024 to come for next year. In the next few slides, you will see the topics that are then going to be announced for the year 2024, highlighted in yellow. We haven't got the time to go into the details of them, but you'll be able to access them by clicking on this hyperlink in here. And we will have dedicated sessions in the future for further capacity. Some of these calls are now being published, and they have deadlines in the first quarter, in the first 3-4 months of 2024. So please, and I'm sure through the NCP network of Nigeria, information will be widely shared, and alerts will be also sent out when it comes to deadlines approaching and so on and so forth. So there's several topics for Horizon Europe Pillar 2, for calls for proposals, being indeed encouraged for different areas such as innovation and technology, capacities for science, and green transition across several topics. We are importantly monitoring the progress of Nigeria's participation in the framework program, as well as for other African countries. And as you can see highlighted in here, Nigeria is doing extremely better, far better in Horizon Europe if you compare to Nigeria's performance in the previous framework program, which was called Horizon 2020. As we speak, Nigeria, in the case of Nigeria, already 22 proposals have been retained, meaning 22 projects involved in Nigerian research institutions, which is almost comparable to what Nigeria had done for the entirety of the 7-year period for the previous framework program. The success rate at the moment for proposals involved in Nigerian institutions of 16%, which is higher than 11%. And the overall number of proposals coming from Nigeria is so far of approximately 140. Of course, these numbers can become better, can become larger. We also want to ensure that participation is as widespread as possible, involving as many Nigerian researchers, higher education and research institutions as possible. And of course, we're working on that with the great support of the NCB networks and of course, the support of the federal ministries in the country and the EU delegation to Abuja. Today, we'll be talking, and you will hear a lot about the Maris-Kloska reactions, the MCSA. It is not really my role to go into the details here, but I would like just to mention that this is indeed a flagship program, component of Pillar 1 of Horizon Europe, as you know by now, that really fosters researchers' mobility and training. It's indeed about doctoral programs, postdoctoral programs too, and I mean, you've got experts in this virtual room today to hear from. I also gathered the latest figures from Nigeria that I could receive, and I take this opportunity also to thank colleagues from DG EAC, DG Education, Youth and Culture at the European Commission, and particularly Maria Mitic, who kindly provided me with these latest figures. So far, under Horizon Europe, Pillar 1, Maris-Kloska actions, 2 Nigerian organizations are involved in MCSA, and these MCSA projects, and these are the Federal University of Technology, MENA, and the Pan-Atlantic University Foundation in the project called Remarkable. There are overall 14 individual Nigerian researchers that are involved in MCSA, and 7 of them in postdoctoral fellowships, 3 of them in doctoral networks, and 4 of them in staff exchanges. So I put the acronyms here so that you can also familiarize as you will go through the portals of Maris-Kloska, you may come across these particular acronyms. And in here is an overview of the resources that we can find with regards to the innovation agenda, the EU cooperation, and so on and so forth. So again, you'll be able to access them just through a click. And I would like to thank you all for your attention and wish you all very, very fruitful deliberations and a very enjoyable learning experience. Thank you all very much indeed.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Vincenzo Barroso, for this great presentation. Now, I will try to present very quickly EURAXESS Africa before moving to our speakers for today, Dr. Dalibor and Dr. Maruf. So I'm trying to present EURAXESS worldwide. And first of all, EURAXESS is an initiative of the European Commission established with the aim to provide free access to information about research in Europe, opportunities for research funding, and international collaboration and transnational mobility. It links researchers in worldwide to Europe. And the network is open to all nationalities and research fields. So for EURAXESS worldwide, we are in 9 hubs in the world: North America, Latin America, Caribbean, India, China, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Korea, Japan, and finally in Africa. And the main tasks of EURAXESS Africa, first of all, management and development of the EURAXESS Africa network, support for African researchers, promoting European research opportunities in Africa, and reinforce the networking with all RNI African actors. So as you see here, this is the platform of EURAXESS. And if you click in worldwide, in this tab, you will see the 9 hubs and the top 3 is Africa. And please try to sign up for free membership to EURAXESS Africa. We have organized already a lot of activities, face-to-face events, online events, and here are some pictures from our events here in Kenya, this one in Morocco, this one in South Africa, in Egypt, under the launch of the Mediterranean Initiative. Here, EURAXESS Africa Day at University of Rwanda in Kigali. This one, EURAXESS Africa Day at University of Nairobi in Kenya. This one, EURAXESS Africa Day at Addis Ababa University in Ethiopia. This one in Western Cape University. This one, Walter Sisulu University in South Africa, and this Valley University of Technology in South Africa. We have also participated in scientific events like this conference, international conference in Morocco, and this event dedicated to MSCA in partnership with MSCA Advocacy and the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research in Algeria. So what can we do for you? First of all, promote your national research landscape, promote your funding opportunities, promote your EURAXESS network, invite speakers from your network and connect our researchers with your research labs, and finally connect you to your European scientific diaspora. Our tools are mainly the website, social media, flash notes, newsletter. We organize a lot of info sessions and we organize also practical workshops. And as you see here in news, you can, of course, click in the website and see all the news and see all events. You can participate and you can watch the recording video for each event. And of course, you can download all slides for free. And for EURAXESS portal, there is plus than 2 million visitors per year and 1.2 million page views per month, and it is for free. And as you see here, actually, we have more than 9,000 jobs actually here in the EURAXESS jobs, and you can use the filter, you can use keywords in order to see the whole of opportunities and apply. And we can use also the EURAXESS portal to find members and find organizations. And as we see here, we have more than 22,000 organizations already there in the website and the platform of EURAXESS. So join us, be informed, be proactive, click on this button and join our community for research. For me, it's okay. This is the presentation of EURAXESS. Of course, I will share this presentation in the page of the event page on the platform of EURAXESS. You can download this presentation. And now I will give the floor to our first speaker for today, Dr. Dalibor, our expert from EURAXESS Worldwide. Dr. Dalibor, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Ahmed. Good afternoon to everyone. Sincere greetings from Austrian capital, Vienna. Today I'm here, but I'm genuinely from Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is one very small country in the European continent. And well, today I'm going to give you a presentation on MSCA postdoctoral fellowship. You could hear from Vincenzo already some basic information about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie reactions, but I just want to give you more information about this sub-program, because it's a very prestigious program where at one call per year, there are many applications, more than 10,000 applications for the grants in this domain. Just a brief information about me. I'm expert associate at the University Clinical Center of Republic of Srpska in Banja Luka, and also assistant professor at Pan-European University of Peyron in Banja Luka, besides this role in EURAXESS Worldwide. For more than 15 years, I was MSCA national contact point, like Dr. Maruf, and participated in more than 10 projects from FP5 till today. And also published these couple of books on Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the policy background and principles ruling in Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, actual rules for participation in postdoctoral fellowships, and some tips and hints for successful applications. So about the policy background and principles, they are aligned with the general principles of Horizon Europe, but Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions are more in favor of individual mobility of researchers. So this is individual mobility program, and as such, the individual mobility program is oriented towards the researcher itself, not to institutions. Now, there is a catch. The individual researcher is not going to get the money itself, but the institution, that is hosting institution, that is going to receive the researcher, they will get the money at disposal and give it to the researcher through the salary, through paying of the conference participation, for the publishing of the papers, etc. So the principles is that Marie Skłodowska-Curie action wants to contribute to European research area and European education area by at the same time fulfilling all these EU external policies objectives. And the most important about Marie Skłodowska-Curie action, as I mentioned, it's an individual program. So they are committed to principles of European Charter for Researchers and Code of Conduct for Recruitment of Researchers. These two documents are describing the possibilities for researchers to be employed and employment conditions, transparency in selection of the candidates, etc. So these two documents are guaranteed that the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions funding is going to be used properly for your salary, contributions, and everything when you come to Europe. Then there is another document which is called Innovative Doctoral Training Principles. It's more relevant for the doctoral networks part of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions lies on the two principles, open science and open access. This is something that is very fresh initiative, and it's very popular initiative. Namely, the Commission considers that paying for the research is sufficient, and the documents and everything that is produced, results of the research, conclusions, etc., they're supposed to be free of charge to all other researchers, because these results are obtained with the public money. So there is no need to again pay for the journals and magazines to read these documents, and therefore the open science and open access initiatives are something that is very favorized in the European Union. Another underlying principle is responsible research and innovation, with the main principle of academic integrity, researchers' integrity, and also ethics and other issues like gender equality, which is very important for the preparation of the proposals in Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. So be advised to read all these 5 documents on your screen here in order to find out what exactly they are. The objectives of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions is primarily to create new knowledge and skills for the researcher in mobility through their training and career development, and therefore every researcher involved in Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions will need to develop a career development plan together with a supervisor or mentor that they selected for this project. The general objective is to create a more talented and to attract more talented persons to Europe, and to create a pool of people that can handle the modern problems and the challenges of the modern societies. And this should be done through the intersectoral, international, and interdisciplinary exchanges. So these 3I, exactly, they are in the core of all projects, and when you write the projects, you have to consider them also, because they are compulsory. When writing the proposal, it is important to have in mind the impact, because the whole program of Horizon Europe is primarily impact influenced. So the results of your project, they must have impact on research and innovation ecosystems, on researcher, on the staff that is assisting researcher in research work, but also to the organizations and the overall research and innovation ecosystem. The Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions are favorizing excellence. So the excellence is a keyword. And another keyword, which is very important and compared to other parts of the Horizon Europe, these are the bottom-up approach projects. So you are the one that are selecting the topic of your research. If you consider pillar 2 and pillar 3, then in those two pillars, the commission is the one that is giving you the task. They give the topics and then you respond to the topics. But in Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions and the European Researchers Council grants, the bottom-up approach is something that is ultimate. As I mentioned already, the training, transferable skills, and career development are in the focus because it's an individual mobility with a strong international and intersectoral dimension. So use this opportunity because it is open for any nationality at any stage of career for the research. So I will be very brief because this is a very wide topic and Dr. Maruf can witness about this. So the main rules for participation. I already explained the objectives of MSCA, and they are very compatible normally with the objectives of the postdoctoral fellowship. But now, in the focus of postdoctoral fellowships, we have someone that holds PhD already. So that one is already granted with the PhD title, and it's supposed to acquire new research and so-called soft skills through advanced trainings in international, interdisciplinary, and intersectoral mobility. So it is open to excellent researchers of any nationality that would like to work on research and innovation projects, but also to work on those projects in the non-academic sector, like industry or, for example, hospitals or museums, etc. According to the vocabulary, non-academic institutions are all those institutions that are not giving or providing the diploma degree. So any institution that is not providing and granting the degrees, they are parts of the non-academic community. We have two main types of fellowship in a postdoctoral. The first one is the European Fellowship, and that one is most interesting for you because you can apply to this European Fellowship. Another one is the Global Fellowship that is exclusively for the European nationals and long-term residents in the European Union, because the mobility in the Global Fellowship is from Europe to other countries. So if your colleague maybe is in Europe and you would like to be his host or supervisor, they can come to your institution and you can exchange the practices and you can work on some very important research. But otherwise, European Fellowship is for you from Nigeria, because you come to Europe from any country worldwide and you do your research in the European institutions. For those that are coming to so-called widening countries, there is another possibility, because this is highly competitive program. So if you don't pass in European Fellowship, but your hosting institution is in the so-called widening countries group, then there is a possibility that your proposal will be funded from this grant. So it's a widening panel that funds European fellowships through this funding from the Spreading Excellence and Widening Participation budget. Another specific type of postdoctoral fellowships, but they are involved practically in the first explained two, is the EURATOM, because these are non-nuclear research of atom energy and associated disciplines. So they are novelty in the program, because EURATOM usually is a separated program. But in Horizon Europe, EURATOM fellowships are added to the postdoctoral fellowship. So the basic data about the fellowships is that they last between 12 and 24 months, or 1 to 2 years. And for global fellowship, there is an extension of 12 months for return phase. So it means when the European researchers goes to Nigeria, spend 1 year, and then has another year to spend in the Europe with the same salary as under the fellowship. Mentioned already the bottom-up approach, but this bottom-up approach normally means that you need to be classified somehow. And there are 8 panels that are evaluating your proposal: chemistry, social sciences, economic sciences, ICT, environment, life sciences, mathematics, and physics. So these 8 panels, you will belong to one of them. If your research is multidisciplinary, the commission, the research executive agency, will based on the keywords define to which panel you are going to be assigned. The requirements is primarily that you have PhD degree at the call deadline. So if you are, for example, in the phase of defending the thesis, and you will be granted with the PhD on the date, which is, for example, 3 months in advance from now, then you can be eligible if you get the degree on the call deadline. So this is one of the benefits. But one of the requirements for participation is that you cannot have more than 8 years of research experience after the PhD, because there is a high competition in this program, and a lot of more experienced researchers have been applying to the proposal, to this mobility, and then practically the less experienced researchers have been a little bit on a side. Now the Commission wants to correct this somehow to give equality also to those younger researchers. And for those with more than 8 years of research experience, I would recommend European Research Council grants, because these grants are really for the experienced researchers, for the breakthrough state-of-the-art research, and for those that are really pushing the boundaries of the science today. So the years outside of the research and career breaks are not going to be counted in these 8 years, and there is a calculator on the websites of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. You can calculate how many years of experience you really have. But there is also one mobility rule that is applicable to all Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, and those also for the postdoctoral fellowship, and that is that you as a researcher, you should not reside or do the main activity in the country of your beneficiary, in the European states, member states, or the associated country to Horizon Europe program, if you are applying for the European fellowship, and that means for you. So more than 12 months in last 3 years, cumulative. So you have to see if you spent more than 12 months in 3 years before the deadline, then you are not eligible. But usually this is less likely that is going to happen, but sometimes it happens. So for nationals and long-term residents of member states and associated country that wants to visit the third countries, the experience of working in third countries is not counted in this case. Also, there is one important issue, as this is a very high competitive program. People are using the resubmissions. It means they resubmit the proposal next year. And now the Commission, due to the large number of resubmissions, they decided that the projects that were evaluated with less than 70% of points, they are not going to be eligible for resubmission. So you need to write another new proposal, not to resubmit the old proposal. So if you are over 70% in your evaluation summary report, if it states that you are over 70%, then next year you can resubmit. How does the postdoctoral fellowship work? First of all, you need to find the host institution and the supervisor in Europe. And then with that host supervisor and host institution, you are preparing the proposal. It means your supervisor and you really are writing this proposal, which is not too long. It is very short proposal, but it's very complex for the filling in. Only one proposal can be submitted by this team. So it means the same researcher and same combination of same researcher and same supervisor, they can submit only one proposal. But the supervisor can submit many proposals with different researchers, and also researcher can submit more proposals with the different supervisors and on the different topics. But the question is, why would you do that, spending more time on making the double of proposals and these things? Because you are going to be competing with yourself, plus to all others. So it is not advisable. It is advisable to have one proposal if you are participating, and try to make it a good proposal that is best match between the fellow and the supervisor, and that they can improve the fellow's skills and the training to the higher level. So what is the proposal structure looks like? This is a kind of 7 elements. For you, it is important the first 6, because the 7th element is more for the global fellowship. The start page and the table of content, this is something that is just an introduction, and they are not counted in the number of pages. List of participating organizations is also not counting in the number of pages. But these 3 sections, starting from the page 5, excellence, impact, and implementation, they're supposed to be written in a maximum 10 pages. So this is the tricky part. You need to explain everything in a maximum 10 pages. And I would like to point to your attention that writing the proposal for the postdoctoral fellowship is more or less equivalent to writing the PhD thesis, because you need to explain all the relevant details of your research. And you will see, I'm on the next slide, I give a more in-depth structure of these three. Then what is important to see that after these 10 pages is the system, because everything is submitted electronically, the system will shade the additional pages. So if the information that is critical for your project is on those shaded pages, it will not be readable. And then the evaluators will not be able to evaluate your proposal. So this all that you see here is the so-called part B1. That part B1 is limited to this number of pages. Next part B2 is not limited, but for capacities of the participating organization, this means the host organization, they need to describe the capacities for accepting you as a researcher in mobility. So what they are going to offer to you, what kind of hosting arrangements, equipment that you're going to use, etc. The ethical issues you need in part A, which is electronically, you need to state that you are going to have ethical issues if they are existing. But in part B2, you are going to explain it in the details. Therefore, there is no page limit. But you need to link these ethic issues in a part B2 with a place in a part B1 where you mention them. So you're just mentioning that there are existing ethical issues in part B1, but explain them in part B2 because you don't have space in B1. And then in B2, you have unlimited number of pages to explain the ethics issues. This is especially important for the medical, for the climate, for the artificial intelligence proposals, etc. Then this letter of the commitment is not necessary for you because you are going to Europe. But if you are hosting institution, you will need to provide this letter to your European fellow when it comes to, before it comes to Nigeria. So this is the another document. Both of these documents are Word templates that you need to fill in and then convert to PDF and upload to the platform. But now, more about these three most important elements that are evaluated. So these are three elements that are evaluated, and these are three criterions for evaluation: research excellence. And in this part, you need to pay attention and to describe the objectives, the methodology, how the supervision is going to be performed, which trainings you are going to undertake. Very important is to explain that this two-way knowledge exchange. So it means what you are going to accept on the hosting institution as a knowledge, but also what do you bring as you to the institution that you are going to. So there are some capacities, there are some skills, there are some initiatives in you that you can transfer to the community of the hosting institution. Then you need to be very clear about the competences and skills of yourself, but also of your supervisor. You need to put it as a paragraph or two to explain that you are two persons capable to do this task properly. Then the impact section is very important. There are some tables that you need to fill in there, but here it is everything about the dissemination, exploitation, and communication. How you are going to impact the community, the science, and the research and innovation ecosystem with your project, according to the impacts that I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation. And also one special point is here, you need to prove how this fellowship is going to influence your career when you are back at your home institution. Are you going to be promoted to the full-time professor, or you're going to get the additional subjects to teach, or something like that? You're going to establish your spin-off or something like that. So these are the elements that you need to also explain in the part B1. Then the last but not least, for the dissemination, exploitation, and communication, and even for outreach, you need to prepare the plans. You need to have the plans with the messages that you are going to disseminate, exploit, and communicate. And there is a difference between dissemination, which is the sending the messages and informing about the results to the academic community, while communication is sending messages to the broader community that is not academic. Implementation is the last part that is evaluated and consists of the project management methodology. So pay attention. Excellence is a research methodology, what you are doing in your research, but how you are going to physically implement it is in a work plan. So this means how the supervisor is going to work with you, how frequent you are going to meet, which activities you are going to perform, which conferences you are going to participate, where you are going to publish the papers, etc. So this has to be developed as a work plan, work packages, and there are a lot of tables inside that you need to fill in. And it's not complicated, it's very easy because you just need to answer the questions. Very important notice. Answer all the questions, don't skip anything. Every question that is there, they have some purpose, and they need to be answered in order to have the clear picture of your proposal. The budget is fixed, and it accounts as unit costs that you can see on your screen, the amounts of the unit costs for living allowance, mobility allowance. If you bring your family with you in mobility, you get some family allowance also, long-term leave allowance. If, for example, for God save us, having some serious sickness or something like that during your fellowship, this can be used for these purposes. And for those that have some handicaps, there are some special need allowances that can be requested additional to this amount. And you can see down in this pink box that for living allowance, there is a country coefficient used. So it means you need to see which country you are going, and your supervisor knows this. And to calculate this coefficient with this amount of money that is here, and that is your 1 person month. Pay attention that you, as a postdoctoral fellowship, you are going to be employed full-time at the hosting institution. So this means that 1 person month in a postdoctoral fellowship means 1 calendar month. Usually this is not the case, but in the case of the postdoctoral fellowship, where you are 100% engaged by the host institution, this means 1 calendar month. Evaluation criteria is according to these 3 elements that I already mentioned, and the things that I explained already, they're written here. Pay attention on these elements and try to answer these questions. Actually, these are the questions on your screen that the evaluators are having in front of them. They're reading your proposal and trying to find the answers on these questions here. So this is also the weight of the importance of these elements when two proposals are equal with the scores. But you don't know about this. This is more important for evaluators. For you, it is important that do all 3 elements properly and adequately that is necessary to be done. The next call, because the last one in 2023 was closed in September, it is usual date for closing the calls for postdoctoral fellowships. Every September is the deadline. So next September is the deadline for the call. You see that it is forthcoming. This is the link. You can go there, read all these elements here on the website, especially topic description, destination, conditions, and documents. Also, down there where you see these partner search announcements, you can find universities making offers for you if you would like to come to their university. This is the excellent place that you can start your search for the supervisor and your hosting institution. But also you can use existing collaboration experience, links, etc. You can go to the seminars and then offer to ask your European colleagues for possibility to participate together in a postdoctoral fellowship. They will not refuse it because this is a prestigious program. They will fight to get the proposal. So please be aware that this is also going to be very difficult to pass because the success rate is between 10 and 15%. I don't want to demotivate you, but this means also an additional motivation, because if you are selected, you're among 10% or 15%, depends per call, of persons that manage to get this highly competitive program. And this is a quality label. This is the quality label that is very important that you have, and that open the doors at European institutions for you for further collaboration, for even improving in your position. So now very briefly about some tips and hints. I already mentioned, but I will repeat, the quality of research is the essence. You need to describe the objectives properly, methodology, originality, interdisciplinarity, experiences and skills that you are going to acquire, where you are going to acquire them, who is going to teach you to this. And also, you may have secondments, so you can be seconded to another institution, not your hosting institution, but another. And for this is very, very, very much advised to plan to be seconded to the industrial sector, because you will acquire additional skills and knowledge how your relevant experience and your relevant education and research can be accommodated to the industrial environment, or how close to the commercialization of your research you are. Then you must explain supervision. So the same, the evaluators will also evaluate you as a researcher, but also supervisor as someone that is guiding you. And you too need to develop this career development plan very precisely. So planning of publication, training activities, teaching activities, if any, participation to conferences. And this is a live document. So you need to submit some framework in the proposal, and then through the project to develop it in the first 6 months. And then after the 6 months, in the 18th month, in the 24th month, to update it in line with the activities you perform, and also with in line with the European Charter for Researchers. So necessary, but really necessary, is to read all the documents from the Commission about the strategies that are relevant for your research, but also the participation documents, and consult with your supervisors. They know these things. They were already involved somehow. They have intensive network of NCPs that are also attacking them to participate in the program. So most probably they know, and they can advise you what to pay attention to. Check your eligibility criteria that is published on the call page. And then also try to find adequate host institution and supervisor that is going to help you to prepare good postdoctoral fellowship proposal, because some universities have the teams of people assisting researchers to write the application. So those teams are usual at European universities to get some assistance to professors when applying, because professors are not skillful to write this kind of proposals. They are not quite skillful. They are skillful, but not sufficiently. And then those people are reading more and trying to assist the supervisors and the fellows to write the good proposal. This is bottom up, yes, definitely. But you have to bear in mind the goals of European Commission, the 6 main strategies of the European Commission, von der Leyen Commission, and also UN SDGs, because UN SDGs are behind Horizon Europe program as a whole. And very important is perseverance, because maybe you will apply first time, you will fail. Next time, maybe you will fail. I know the case of a Bosnian researcher that tried for 10 times, 11th times he was successful. It requires the times, it requires a certain amount of luck also, but you don't have to give up. This is most important. You are, as other African researchers also, you're eligible for the postdoctoral fellowship as presented, which means for the European fellowships. It is important to find the proper host and supervisor. And before that, try to increase your research visibility. Go to congresses, go to seminars, write the articles, publish them to increase your visibility, because the research capacity is evaluated. You will have to provide your CV. You will have to explain that you have the capacities to perform that research that you are describing. Start with a low profile activities. If you are not experienced, ask colleagues to help you, and be proactive. This is most important. Learn, read, and be visible. So the most important is try and don't give up. Every effort is granted. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation, because I also have to run away for another meeting. I will be very happy to answer on a couple of questions now, because I'm very short with time. But also you can deliver the questions to Ahmed, and Ahmed will send it to me, and then we will publish it on EURAXESS Africa, the answers on all the questions that are not answered at the moment. So Ahmed, back to you.
Thank you. Thanks. It was very clear, very great presentation, Dr. Dalibor. So before moving to Maruf, we can allow 1, 2, 3 questions and move forward to Dr. Maruf. So please leave your hands. Okay, we have with us Nadia Marakshi, and also we have Ismailia. So,
Nadia.
and Dr. Raja, please, if you open your mic, please, and give your question.
Okay,
Yeah,
Nadia, you
this
can
is
start.
this is Dr. Jabir Singh from India.
Mhm.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My question is that my area of interest is labor migration and social security. My PhD is from human resource development, climate and healthcare sector. So is there any possibility where I can collaborate with our agency? I heard there is an office in Delhi, in India office. So is there any connectivity where can I collaborate with kind of conducting fieldwork survey in India? Specifically,
Yes.
I want to conduct a study on last year, India government has released new policy and labor policy, new wage code of conduct 2022. So I am very keen on to conduct a research study and the freelance research study on this line. So please throw
Yeah.
light on this area.
Yeah, sorry,
Please guide me whom to approach, whom to apply for this.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Please, when you send the questions, be precise with the question. Yes, you can participate in the program. It is not a problem. Social sciences and humanities, unfortunately, they don't have individual type of calls where you can apply as a social science and humanities researcher. But social scientists can apply to any call in the Horizon Europe program because they are part of this inter and multidisciplinarity approach. So, for example, you are researching some disease under the health, and then this disease requires vaccine. You, as a social scientist, you can investigate possibilities of acceptance of vaccine in the community. So this will be the part of your task in the whole project. So try to find your niche. It is not maybe directly written in the call topic page, but you can find your niche and participate in the proposal with a part of the task. And this is more relevant to the pillar 2, but for pillar 1, you can apply with your research idea. Just find in Europe the professor that has this interest also, and you too can create a proposal of your interest. You can, for example, the usual thing that PhDs are doing is to continue their research that they have in PhD, and even with the same supervisor. So those many African researchers have completed their career in Europe. So they continue to keep the connection with the European supervisors, and they go to these projects like that. But you can also use the other opportunities that are. Okay. So next question.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So we move to. I think we have Ismaila. Ismaila, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My name is Ismaila from Ahmad Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. My research activity, academic research in terms of research methodology, instructional materials, and evaluation strategy and curriculum development. My question is that what are examples of low-profile activities that you have said that a person should start with?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
This is the participating in the conferences, in the seminars, as a presenters, as a kind of a participant where you can be exposed to the community of researchers, so that you gain your research capacities, that you can publicly speak, that you can explain your research vision and idea. So this is those kind of low-profile activities where you develop yourself.
Thank you, sir.
To be a better researcher.
Okay. Last question, Igor?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Richard, please.
Hello, thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of this workshop. I want to confess I've so much benefited, and this is my first time. I was introduced by Dr. Maruf Sani, presentation to him. I just want to ask whether some of these presentations on this program will be made available so that we have time to go through them again. That is number one. Number two is to say that, well, I am coming from the humanities point of view, particularly from philosophy, and then I am interested in looking at an area of language and its impact on Earth. But I would like to know maybe there will be a certain group to join in such a research, or I could initiate that research independently, and how to get a supervisor and the host university that may be interested in that. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for the question. For the supervisor and the hosting institution, this has to be done by yourself. So you need to find it somehow. There are many tools and many ways to find it. One of them is on the research participant portal that I explained on this page of MSCA. This is the first point where you can search for the institutions, but also you know from your field who is the best in this in your domain. Go to that institution, send email, and try to get the contact. I have experience of one researcher from Bosnia and Herzegovina that has sent 20 emails to 20 different universities. He didn't know any of these professors. He just find them on internet, going searching for the keywords, find in Austria, find that the university that and that, find the professor, that one that deals with this topic. He doesn't know him, but find email, dear professor, I'm interested to do research in this field. Are you open for collaboration? Just send an email, present yourself, present your idea, and send a very short email to that person, and then initiate this communication. Out of 20, 18 responded. So it is high level of responsiveness. And then out of this 18, he managed to find the proper one to discuss and to implement this idea in full. The topic of research is negotiated between you two. It can be any discipline. So there is no limitation for Maris Sklodowska-Curie postdoctoral fellowship. And that will be all. Sorry, I have to run away for the another meeting. I hope that next year we will be able to organize this, as we mentioned, some direct communication and some physical event in Nigeria. And thank you all for participating and listening to me. Please deliver your questions to Ahmed, and I will try to respond to them in some time. And I wish you good luck in the participation. So much from me. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
So we move now to Dr. Maruf. So Dr. Maruf, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed, for giving us your platform to be able to, speak to our colleagues and our members at NigeriaLics. Thanks so much. I would also like to appreciate Dr. Vizenzo and Dr. Dalibo for those wonderful presentations. We actually appreciate you for honoring us today. Thank you very much. So, frankly speaking, I think Dr. Dalibo has actually, done half of my job, so to speak. So I'm just quickly just going to go to, practical experience that I can share with colleagues, on this platform. And so the name is, of course, is Maruf Sani. I work with National Center for Technology Management. It's an agency under Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Technology. I'm also one of the national contact points for MSCA in Nigeria. So this is just going to be a very short presentation, but hopefully it will be impactful. So I'm going to start with background. From there, I'm going to go into practical tips that I believe will be very useful for us, most especially people that are actually interested in applying to MSCA. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about 10 practical, tips before going to conclusion. So I understand Dr. Dalibo already explained, part of what I'm just going to be speaking to here. So here, to receive funding for MSCA, basically you could apply as an organization, you could apply as a postdoc, you could also apply for vacancy, on that particular, program. So as a way of background, I'm sure I'm not going to say anything about this because Dr. Dalibo already said a lot about this. Is to enhance, experienced researchers, because they are basically looking for experienced researcher. This particular one I'm talking about speaks directly to individual fellowship. So I'm going to be sharing experience from, MSCA that has to do with, postdoctoral, fellow. So I'm going to start with practical tips 1, which is, Dr. Aliba also mentioned something like this. You have to, first of all, search for relevant institutions. And why is this important? It's important because in this case, you have to search for those institutions that are very relevant to what you want to go and do. You see, that sounds simple, but it could be difficult getting a particular institution that will be interested in what you are doing. But in this case, you have to make sure that you actually search for relevant institutions in your area. If you are proposing a particular research in the area of sustainable development, for instance, you have to look for institutions who will be interested in that. At the same time, you also need to narrow it down to a particular supervisor or a researcher who will also be interested in what you are doing. Mine was carried out in Italy, and the name of the agency is European Institute on Economics and Environment. They are situated in Milan. They also have some other offices. And the department where I was working has to do with sustainable earth modeling economics division. So why I'm saying this is that all this, are actually related to what I actually put down in my proposal. So you see, so the institution has to be relevant.
Yeah, no problem.
So once you have that, you can begin to reach out to them. So let's mute Mike, please. Okay. So we can begin to reach out, to them. And one thing that's also very important that I found very instructive and useful while I was in Italy was I did not only have a supervisor who actually worked with me through the development stage of the proposal. I also have a project manager called Mariesta Castellini. So this particular manager actually helped me through all the bureaucracy in Italy. And you understand what I'm saying, because Italy is not exactly English-speaking country. They have their own language. So moving around could be very difficult. Again, this will be useful if you are going to go to areas where they don't really speak English, maybe Germany, France, or some other countries that will not be speaking English. It's important that you also key into this particular initiative that will be very, very useful for you as a postdoctoral fellow in that particular institution. So she helped me cut through all the bureaucracies. All she has to do, in fact, she was practically taking me to those offices whereby I need to do one contract or the other. So imagine if I had to go there, not understanding Italian language, that could be very difficult. That's one. The other thing is that all the other thing that has to do with paperwork beside research, she also took care of all that. Meaning, I don't have to talk about financial. All I have to do, just once I've spent some money, I just tell her, Mariesta, I've done A, B, and C. Please help me document. So she will document all that, and she will file them. So the idea of racking your head around finances or budgets does not even arise at all. So she also took care of all that. So I think it's important for you to have a project manager. If they don't have that particular idea, you could actually sell that to them at your host institution. So practical tips number 2. Even though it's a bottom-up approach whereby you are going to tell them exactly what you want to go and do, it's also important that you also fit into EU objectives and goals, because this is what some of the reviewers will, even if not all the reviewers will also be looking out for, because it's not, the program itself is not a charity, so to speak. They actually have objectives and goals in mind that they are trying to look at. So your work must also fit into that. So meaning you are doing 2 things. The first thing is that look for host institutions that are very relevant, number 1. Then number 2, make sure that your program also fits into EU objectives and goals. That is when you are sure that you also be considered by the reviewers. So practical tips number 3. Dr. Aliba also said something about this that's highly competitive. It's not lying. It's actually very highly competitive. Even though they're going to tell you the threshold is 70, but you are not going to get, if you get 70, I'm almost certain that you won't get called, because before I was able to get this particular grant, I actually tried it 3 times. So I tried in 2016, tried in 2017. I didn't get it until 2018 call. And if you look at the scores, the first score in 2016 was 84.4. Yes, I didn't make the cut. The second one was in 2017. I got 84.20. I didn't make the cut until the third one, which is in 2018. When I got 89.4, that was when I was able to make the cut. So that tells you how competitive this particular program is. So whatever it is that you need to work very well with your supervisor. Let me tell us that this is not something you will do by yourselves. In many instances, if not in all cases, you are going to be working with your supervisor. So you are going to develop, you will have, of course, the title of the proposal itself, but developing the proposal will be done by you and your supervisor in the host institution. So you are going to develop, as a matter of fact, they are the one that will submit on your behalf, on the portal, on the EU portal. So you need to work along, with your supervisor. But of course, you need to hone your research. You need to know exactly what you want to do so that you can explain to your supervisor very well. So this is highly competitive. So you should have this at the back of your mind. Then again, I said, take feedback seriously. One good thing about this particular program is that they also give feedback. So for the one I did in 2016, I got feedbacks, which I was able to use in pushing, for the second submission, So of course, then second submission, I also got a feedback because they will even ask you if it's going to be a resubmission or not. So you are going to note on the portal whether what you are doing is a resubmission or not. But however, the reviewers of the first one will not have knowledge about the second, submission. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you make sure that the feedback you got from the first one were actually well incorporated into the second one. So that's very important. So that way you can improve on the proposal. And the program is usually, 2 years. So practical tips this will be number 3, I guess. Number 3 now. Number 4. Present a well-structured proposal. Here now, what you need to look at here is that Dr. Dalibo already explained the structure of the proposal to you. They are usually in 2 parts, the first one and this section A and section B. So either way, you have to make sure that they are all well structured. And one way of doing that is to categorize them into what they call work packages. What exactly are you going to be doing? Make them in work packages. And each work package must be split into what they call milestones. The idea is that you should be able to track your progress as you move on. For instance, now if your work package number 1 is literature review and methods, your milestone could be literature review completed, methodology completed, meaning you have a document that you can show that you've completed literature review, for instance, or a document that shows that you've completed your methodology. So that will be your milestone that you've reached. But the work package in this case will be your literature review. Same thing with data collection, analysis, or training that you're interested in. So make sure you divide all your proposal into work packages, whereby you can track them through your milestone. This is also very, very important. Then practical tips number 5, don't be too ambitious. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't be ambitious. Of course, you should be ambitious. But the idea is that don't be too ambitious. I remember in my first proposal, I wrote something like 5, that within 2 years, I'm going to publish, 5 articles. My supervisor said, look, this is just too much. You can't do everything. You need to, scale it down to be sure that you are realistic. And again, see, this is actually very instructive because this is one of the things that the reviewers will look at. They want to be sure that what you are saying is practicable. It's not something you don't be overly too ambitious by saying, I'm going to publish 10 articles just for you to want to impress the reviewers. They are not going to be impressed because they know it's not possible for you to do that within a particular year or even within 2 years. So don't be too ambitious, be realistic as much as you can and be logical about your presentation. So practical tips number 6, pick up many skills as you can. Then also try and build your network. So while you are there, you need to be doing 2 things or maybe more than 2 things, but be sure to build network because remember you're going to be in Europe and you're going to be attending many conferences. So it's important for you as you attend these conferences, don't just go there to present. Make sure you make good connections that will not only help your career, but will also help your, MSCA in that particular, period. So because it's important for you to, to do that once you go to conferences or any training or workshops. So once you go there, make sure you build networks with your colleagues and even senior colleagues. Then at the same time, too, one good thing about the program is that you don't only get to attend conferences, you also get to choose the training that you're interested in. So meaning you could apply for training and it will be sponsored. You could apply for it to go to conferences, workshop, and that will also be sponsored. So you also have to have that at the back of your mind. If you need training in methodology, for instance, you can apply and it will be funded in that particular program. So it's allowed. So practical tips number 7, success breeds success. So what I'm trying to say here is that even though this program does not have, they don't have a portal where they could share successful proposals, but you could explore, external sources where you could get, successful proposal that will allow you to understand exactly how do you win, good grants, so to speak. So here now, what I'm saying is that there are so many, networks or websites where you could find successful proposals that you can look at and say, okay, this particular guy has been able to get this fund. How did he do it? What did he write exactly? So these are some of them that I listed here that you could actually check. That will allow you to see how are some of these proposals written, because frankly speaking, writing good proposal is an art. You need to learn it. That's the truth. Because one way of finding that out is that if you go for a particular interview whereby your proposal has passed maybe 1 or 2 stages, what you will see are the same set of people. So what does that tell you? It tells you that they've mastered the art of writing these grant proposals. That's what it means. So in that case now, what they are simply saying is that you could explore some of these websites, see what they did that actually impressed the reviewers, and you could also do the same thing. There are so many of them. You have the Open Grants database, you have the Wellcome Trust site, you have the AFOX, which is in the UK. So you could explore some of these websites and you'll get some of those fundable proposals. So be prepared, especially if you are going to go to non-speaking English countries in Europe. You need to be prepared for the culture, because at times you could be shocked by the way things are done in that particular area, because it might be strange from compared to where you are coming from. So in this case, I will advise that you learn a little bit about the culture in that particular area before you actually go there. And there's also a document they call Declaration of Value in Italy, for instance, because that's where I did mine. And what does this do? What this says is that you did a document that will allow them to understand that you are indeed a researcher, so to speak. And how do they do that? You have to, what they say, verify all your documents. You have to verify the BSc, the MSc, and the PhD. So they need to look at the 3 together. From there, once they are satisfied, then they give you what they call declaration of value. And what would that help you to achieve? It will allow you to, to have a reduced, tax in Europe, because I could see Dr. Dalibo showing us the budget. I'm sure when you see the living wage is something like 5,000 euro, you say this is a big money, but it's big. That is correct. But at the same time, you're going to pay a lot of tax. So if you could get this particular document, it will allow you to get a reduced tax, at least in Italy. I don't know what is applicable in other countries, in other European countries, but in Italy, they will require that you do this so that you can have a reduced task. And one thing about this document is very difficult to get, especially if you are going to be processing it once you get to European country. It's easier if you work towards it while you are still in Nigeria. Once you receive this grant, just start looking for how to actually get that particular document. So start early in getting this particular one, because throughout my 2 years in Italy, I couldn't get it. So I would advise that before you even leave Nigeria, please try as much as possible and see whether you can get this particular document before you leave the shores of Nigeria. And again, to read the guidelines and ask questions. Before you apply, even after you've applied, even after you've gotten the grant, you also still need to ask questions. One thing I found very interesting was that after getting there, I found it difficult to come back home to collect primary data, because they were actually expecting me to have finished my data and work on secondary data in Europe. And I wasn't looking in that direction. My thinking was that I would just go there once I'm done with my judicial review, the methodology, then I can come back home to collect data. Then it became a lot of trouble coming down to Nigeria to collect primary data. So you need to factor that in. Ask questions from your supervisor. Would this be possible for me to do? Eventually, they allowed me to do that, but it took us a lot of time before we could actually do that. So ask a lot of questions from your supervisor or the host institutions that will this A, B, and C be possible if I'm in Europe. The ethical consideration. If you're also going to be going from Nigeria, for instance, to Europe, you have to anonymize all your data. But they will not allow you to, to take all your data from here that are not anonymized to Europe because of ethical, consideration. So you need to also have that at the back of your mind. Then there are so many websites that you can check, to understand exactly how do you go about this, how do you apply. One of them is this the last site I listed here. Of course, EURAXESS is also a very good site that I'm sure you find useful. As a matter of fact, I would not advise you to apply without checking EURAXESS website because it's very useful, has a lot of information with regards to not only MSCA, but all the other European programs. Then of course, one other thing that you also may need to look into are the one they call national contact points. They have one for MSCA and so many other European programs, especially the one under Horizon Europe. So I will advise that you contact them to for more information. I'm one of the contact points for MSCA, so you can contact me. I will share with you my email address at the end of this presentation. So practical tips number 10, build a very strong network with your host institution. Don't just leave and not checking back on your host institutions. Always try to touch base with your host institution. At the same time, try and develop not just any collaboration, but a research collaboration with your colleagues in your host institution. So once you leave, you can still continue to work with them. There's also what they call, affiliation. You can also set up if they have, because some may not have. My own institution has, so I was able to affiliate with them. So I still have access to some of their resources in that particular institution. So I would advise you do the same. Don't just leave and not checking back. So always touch base with your institutions once you are done with your program in Europe. So concluding remarks, I would simply say, don't give up too easily. Keep trying until you succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Maruf, for this also nice presentation. So we've gone over the planned time, but we can just allow 2-3 questions and before closing this webinar. So please, raise your hands for those who want to give a question. Okay, and we have Peter. Peter, please. Yagana, if you are here. Okay, we move to Martin. Martin, please. The figure, yeah. Okay, please go ahead. We have Richard.
Thank you, the moderator. Once again, I want to appreciate Dr. Maruf Sani for the presentation and the hints to note. I want to ask, number one, what order should it take? Is it the writing of proposal that should come first, or looking for the host institution and the supervisor? From what Dr. Maruf has said, I mean, the importance of having a supervisor is so strong, So I want to ask, is it that you are first of all going to look for your supervisor in the host institution before you write the proposal at all, or you should have written the proposal, get it ready, and then you look out for the supervisor? Number two question that I want to ask, particularly to Dr. Maruf, is there a certain group, maybe in OAU, for instance, or in Nigeria, on this EURAXESS program that one can belong to, or something like that, or groups like that that one can join, so that there will be continuous updates, workshops, enlightenment, and all of those. Those are my two questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to respond to the second question. And for the second question, I am saying that you can be connected with EURAXESS Africa, and because we will organize a lot of events, a lot of workshops, a lot of sessions, and try to be connected. You will receive each week a flash note, and we have a newsletter. And for each one of them, is a lot of events, online events. Of course, we will organize a face-to-face event in Abuja, in Nigeria, and I hope you with that this event. I give you the floor for the first question, Maruf.
Thank you very much, Hamid. Thank you very much, Dr. Oilakin. That was a good question. So I'll start with the first one. That what is the order? The order for me would be to, first of all, have a clear idea of what you want to do. It has to be very clear to you. What exactly do you want to go and do in Europe? What kind of research do you intend to carry out? Then from there, once that is clear, then you can now look for supervisor. But of course, once you find a supervisor, then you can get host institution, because this supervisor will be located in a particular institution. So in that case, the order will be get a clear picture of the idea. You don't have to write it yet. After that, once the idea is clear, then you explain to a supervisor. Once that is clear, then of course the host institution will be very clear. If the supervisor is interested in what you are proposing, then you can now, because the proposal will be developed by you and your supervisor. So I wouldn't say you should just go ahead and develop, because there might be so many things that will change. It may have a good insight that will help you develop your proposal. So I wouldn't say you develop a full proposal. Just have an idea, like maybe 200 words, 250, 300 words. Because remember, some of these people are very busy. They wouldn't want to be reading a very long, thesis. So just have something very short that will explain your idea to his supervisor. So once he's interested, then you cannot start developing the proposal from there. That's what I would advise. Then with regards to the group, I think Dr. Ahmed already explained that. I think that's
Yes,
that'll be sufficient. Yeah.
we move to Chukwuemeka. Please, you can open
Thank you
your
so
mic.
much, Dr. Maruf. Thanks so much for your presentation. In the first presentation, it seems there's a bias against those who have their PhDs above 8 years. For some of us who have had our PhDs since 2008, we seem to be ineligible. So what's your advice if you want to act as a senior researcher if you want to go to Europe from the perspective of a senior researcher with over 10 years of research experience? That's the first question. The second question, of course, is what I requested from you on the chat box earlier. I've been in Uganda now for about 4 years, going to 5 years, and I don't want to lose touch with home. So how do you become part of NigeriaLics? Because sometimes some of the groups you join here, you are still faced with the fact that, yes, you are African, but you are reminded that you are West African in East Africa. So how do I become part of NigeriaLics and be part of what happens at home? Thank you.
So should I respond to Dr. Ahmed?
Yeah, please.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much, Dr. Chukwuemeka. So the first question with regards to 8 years after the award of PhD, that is true. There could be a bias towards that, but then we have to remember that MSc is divided into so many categories. One of them is just what we are explaining now, which is just individual fellowship. There are so many other ones that you could also apply to that will not have the limit of 8 years. So there are so many other programs within the EU that you could apply to that will not be limited by the number of years that you've been awarded your PhD. So with regards to NigeriaLics, I think that's about the simplest. I'll probably share my email address maybe in the chat box, so you could please reach out to me. I also have the Secretary General here of NigeriaLics. We'll be glad to to assist. I'm also the president of NigeriaLics, so I should be able to assist you. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Muhammad.
Yes, thank you, Ahmad. Thank you so much, Dr. Maruf Sani. You have done justice for this topic you have presented. I am Muhammad Abubakar from Bayero University, Kano, Nigeria. My question maybe is in form of comment, okay? Yes, I understand that there are three interests. Whenever you want to apply for such a stuff, there are three interests that has to come together. First, your own interests as an applicant, where the area you intend to work. And secondly, the interest of the supervisor. Of course, the supervisor you are choosing is capable of supervising in this area. So you have to, whenever you are trying to proposal, of course, you have to agree. So these are two interests. Your own interest and your supervisor's interest has to come together. And the third interest is the interest of the funding body, the organization of the body that will fund the work. Of course, maybe they have certain areas where you want you to write your proposal. So does that mean that no matter how good your proposal is written, no matter how excellent the supervisor is, if your interests are not in line with the interests of the funding body, that your proposal will be accepted or not? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Maruf?
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. That's a good question. You see, one of the unwritten rules, in grad proposal writing is that you have to understand exactly what is the mission of the funding body. That is very important. So you have to understand that, because if it's not in line with the objectives or goals, of what use would that proposal be? It doesn't mean the proposal is not good. It simply means that is not the area they are looking at. So first of all, as researchers, we need to be sure that we are taking into consideration the mission, objectives, and goals of a particular funding body. So I said earlier that EU is not a charity body. They have a particular goals in mind, objective in mind that they're trying to pursue. It could be a green transition, for instance. So if your proposal is not aligned in that particular area, no matter how good it is, it may not be funded because it's not in line with what they are looking at. So I think for us as researchers, we need to be sure that we align our interest with that of our funding agents or funding bodies. So I think it's important for us to to do that as researchers.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much for responding.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we come to the end, Dr. Maruf, because we spent a lot of time, but I want to tell that don't hesitate to contact us by email. You can contact Maruf, you can contact us. For us, our email is africa@euraxess.net, and specify your question. We will try to respond to all questions and share all questions with Dalibor and with Maruf also. So I have, before tell bye-bye, if you can, Maruf, add some closing words if you want.
Ahmed, I'm Dr. Raja. 1 minute, can I ask one question to Maruf?
Oh, yeah, Maruf, you can allow this question?
Please,
Yeah,
maybe 1 minute, please.
Oh,
Dr. Raja, 1 minute.
Yeah, Maruf, thank you for your presentation. It's a great help for me and all of us.
Thank you.
My question is that is there any funding agency to allow us to present our paper in the foreign university conferences, travel grant? Is there any funding agency for travel grant? Travel grant to attend the conferences?
No.
Yes, there are. I don't have any at the top of my head now, but I'm sure there are quite a number of foreign bodies who will sponsor you to attend that. Anyway, let me even say one. There is one called EURAXESS. EURAXESS usually have a call, I think every year or every 2 years. So you could actually apply, and once your proposal is accepted from developing countries, you will be funded. So we have EURAXESS. We also have the one they call GlobalLics. GlobalLics also is GlobalLics. Yes. I'm sure you must have heard about them. They are also very popular in India. In fact, the last one they did, the last conference was in India.
Okay.
So
just spell it tomorrow. GlobalLics. GLO.
Okay. GlobalLics.
Okay.
GlobalLics.
Let me 1 minute. Let me
GLO.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay, Maruf, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raja. Okay, please, Dr. Maruf, if you have some closing words.
Okay, yeah. So, well, first of all, I think, as I said earlier, I'm going to, appreciate Dr. Ahmed, for giving us this particular platform to be able to, reach out to our colleagues. It's been very insightful. It's been very impactful. I'm sure all of our members that attended will have benefited one or two things from this particular program. We really appreciate you, Dr. Ahmed, giving us the EURAXESS platform to be able to, to do this. Of course, I also thank, Dr. Vicenzo from the EU, for joining us, in presenting to us, giving us, a kind of context within Horizon Europe, programs, the one that's actually particularly relevant to African countries. I also thank Dr. Dalibo for that wonderful presentation on MSCA. Really, really appreciate you. Let me also use this opportunity to also inform us that EURAXESS will also be having a physical event in Abuja. The dates and time will be communicated, to you. So please follow EURAXESS website. I'm sure the information will be posted on our website once everything is set. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Maruf, for this nice collaboration, and we hope that we continue this great collaboration to organize a lot of events and a lot of workshops and practical workshops to be near with the researchers from Nigeria. I want to thank you and thank Dr. Olushola and Professor Opiemi from NigeriaLics. I have 3 words, only 3 words for me. Be connected, be informed, and of course, be proactive. And we can say bye-bye now and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao. Thank you.
Thank you, Maruf. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Maruf. I've sent you an email. Check your email.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done, Dr. Maruf.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.